What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Sunday Community Skirmish, number 225. My name is Urs. We are going into the first game of our best-of-5 set between these two teams. First off, for red side, we have Legio Lepidoptera Leviathan repping the GFA Dosidicus, Stormbreaker with Lumberjack Seraph, dual Seraph, with a Mine Launcher on the right side. Their ally, the Bamboozle Moth, Judgment, with a front Lumberjack, Banshee Hades, rear Hwacha Gatling. For their opponents, the Pomelos, we have the Rozkov, Hades Dual Artemis on the left, Gatling Mortar on the right, and for their ally, slow-moving Squid, Galleon Hades, Mark II Heavy Flak Lumberjack, with a Heavy Carronade Hwacha on the right side. And already, we see Legio Lepidoptera attempting to flank Blue's spawn from the Western Pass. All these ships really kitted out for long-range play, even the Stormbreaker, bringing that Lumberjack. And it looks like Junker may have eyes on the Stormbreaker. Spot does go down on the Junker, so I think both teams are aware of their opponent's positions. And Rozkov, with Galleon not quite at an altitude to support, forced to go behind terrain. You can see your slow-moving Squid keeping at a very low altitude, trying to stay unspotted below the clouds, but the flare goes out, does illuminate their ship, so they are now getting dual focused by the Bamboozle Moth and the Dosidicus. And Galleon's balloon does go down. Kind of an interesting set of ships for this map. Typically, Canyon Ambush is one of the maps that we do see more brawl style of play, a lot of Hwacha based builds, even the occasional Gat Mortar, either Mobula or Pyramidion. But here, both teams seem itching to play at medium range. The Tempest and the Artemis in particular, not going to be very effective at a close quarters match, and I'm going to take another look. We do have a Gat Mortar on the close range side of the Rozkov. Red team also, because Blue has elected to bring a Junker, Junker can be a very strong ship on this map. Due to its close range mobility, it can navigate around the tight corridors of the canyon very easily. However, in bringing the Junker, it means they give up that Lumberjack slot, no heavy weapon option for the ship. Meaning that Legio Lepidoptera on red is going to have roughly twice the balloon popping power of their opponents. Now, Rozkov's attempting to move into close range, but Bamboozle Moth is doing a good job contesting them with that Lumberjack. You can see the balloon popping power is very impactful, especially against a Junker, which has that big juicy balloon. However, with slow-moving Squid coming in from behind, Rozkov, potentially Bamboozle Moth going to be sandwiched here. The Dosidicus is doing what they can to try to dissuade the slow-moving Squid, but they seem content to, switching to here real quick, seem content to just tank through this position and contest the Dosidicus with the close range guns. And now Rozkov has moved in with the close range, Gatling coming in, mortar shots hitting, big damage already on the Bamboozle Moth, still having issues with their balloon. And Bamboozle Moth, one mortar kill range now, slow moving Squid moving in for the dual focus. Dosidicus too high to contribute to this fight, and I think Bamboozle Moth just barely able to stay alive. This might be it, though. Yeah, mortar finally does finish them off. I'm surprised that last armor break didn't, Rozkov wasn't able to finish them off, but I guess the mortar wasn't quite an arc. And now Dosidicus, Legio Lepidoptera decidedly losing that first fight. Stormbreaker forced to retreat. And Rozkov, I think the Junker pick definitely working out in that first fight. You saw as soon as the Bamboozle Moth was isolated, their balloon locked down by the slow-moving Swizz Lumberjack, the Junker immediately started looking for openings to move in with that Gatling Mortar. Because Red is kitted out, as I was talking about earlier, kitted out for that medium to long-range Lumberjack play. If the Junker can move into one of these ships' blind spots, or really just any, even into their gun side at close range, those Lumberjacks become basically useless, and the Gatling Mortar becomes much more powerful. So that's definitely what they're opting to do. We'll see if Lucky Lepidoptera decides to play a little bit more defensively, maybe in the open air area of red spawn, where it'll be a little bit more difficult for the Roscoff to flank them. See what they decide to do. Dosidicus moving to some terrain. Roscoff slowly inching forward. They've got to take down that balloon. That's triple L. Slow moving Squid's balloon goes down first. Bamboozle Moth's balloon is low as well. The Hades picking away at the Judgment's Hull. Balloon on the Bamboozle Moth does go down. Wow, Dosidicus is getting hit by something. Almost looks like... Double checking the Galleon here. It looked like the Stormbreaker was getting hit by like a knockback effect, but that is not the case. However, Red Team's position, they are getting forced apart, so there might be an opportunity here for Roscoff to move in. Bamboozle Moth has gotten very low to the ground. Slow-moving Squids, keeping them locked down with the Lumberjack. The Tempest of the Dosidicus is not doing a whole lot against the high armor value of the Galleon, just not doing a lot of damage. But at the same time, it looks like Pomelos are content to just hold their position. They don't see a need to move in just yet. They do have that 1-point lead. So they're just picking away. Dosidicus armor getting low. The Tempests are going to be much more annoying for the Stormbreaker. And armor does go down, balloon down as well. They're moonshining forward. Looks like they're not going to take any permanent damage. It's a little tap of permanent health is gone. They're struggling to get behind terrain. They're set to the wrong side of their ship as well, so they're not returning any fire. Armor goes down again. Permanent damage coming in. That was a heavy flak shot, I think. And Dosidicus down to just a sliver of health. They're taking so much damage and they're not doing any in return. I mean, you look at the right side of the screen. Roscoff and slow-moving Squid armor very healthy. Hull still, they have not taken a single pip of permanent health in this entire game. So this is looking rough for Triple L. They've got a... I don't know what they can really do here. Bringing Stormbreaker to a long-range duel, a little bit questionable. It's hard to bring a squishier ship to a sniper fight because typically these types of engagements play out in a very drawn-out manner where the ships are kind of getting picked away. So ships that have low armor value get picked away much more quickly. And every little hit means so much more to a Stormbreaker than it does to a Junker or a Galleon, especially a Galleon with 1500 health, highest in the game. Those Tempest shots basically meaningless to the slow-moving Squid. And the problem here for Lucky Lepidoptera is because they seem to be losing this medium-range battle. They have to change things up, but because they have the Stormbreaker with the Lumberjack, they can't really play at close range. I guess they could try to go for the Mine Launcher, but it's pretty risky. We do see Dosidicus. They are moving into some type of a flank. I think we'll see. They're moonshining forward. They're either going to be trying to Lumberjack from behind, or they're going to be bringing that Mine Launcher into play. Maybe I could zoom in and see where the crew is positioned. Looks like they're going to be using the Lumberjack. Just hitting from a different angle, maybe just to disrupt the Pomelos formation just enough to break the stalemate. But Junker very quickly reacting, and Dosidicus bouncing away means the Roscoff doesn't even have to switch to the Gatling Mortar. They're just going to die here. The Hades dual Artemis, once the Dosidicus backed away into the effective Hades range, the Junker was able to kill them very easily. So I don't know about that. We do have an armor break on the slow-moving Squid, so we're going to get a little bit of permanent damage. But now the Roscoff is back in to support their ally. And I don't think Bamboozle Moth is going to win this fight. They might be moving forward for a ram, realizing they're not going to be able to kill them with their guns. Balloon is down. Boom, but I don't think the angle is good enough. The slow-moving Squid bounces underneath the Bamboozle Moth, and then Roscoff rotates back. Now they're getting dual-focused heavy weapons from the Galleon coming into effect, and that's a 3rd point for the Pomelos. So they did change things up. That didn't work out either, unfortunately. Docidicus going for the flank play. They did have a little sliver of health, but unfortunately the Junker, because it does have that fast turn acceleration, is able to react very quickly. And Docidicus is not able to do enough damage before the Junker does turn their focus to Stormbreaker's way. So now a very strong lead. Bamboozlemoth did get, well, the Junker was peeled away. The Bamboozlemoth took out about half the Galleon's health, so Red does have an opportunity to maybe dual focus the Galleon in the next fight. That's probably their best option. With 10 minutes left on the clock, 9 minutes even. Time is quickly running out for them to mount a comeback. And now Red Team taking this forward in Canyon spawn. This was added in the last patch. So terrain advantage, at least for the moment, going to Lepidoptera, while Roskov and Slow Moving Squid move a little bit forward into Red's spawn. Slow Moving Squid, first balloon to go down, up in the Drogue chute. While Roskov gets an angle on the Docidicus. Blue shooting at two different ships. Docidicus's armor goes down. They are forced behind terrain. Now we have dual focus from the Pomelos. Both ships hitting the Bamboozlemoth. Bamboozlemoth doing a good job keeping the Junker's balloon suppressed. And Roskov, besides being a Junker with that big vulnerable balloon, also going to be the most vulnerable to balloon disable due to the fact that it's relying on those two Artemis with the poor upwards arcs. So anytime the Junker's balloon goes down, it's effectively out of the fight compared to the Bamboozlemoth or the Slow Moving Squid, which can still fire upwards. Dual focus yet again. Bamboozlemoth going to lose their armor. Permanent damage coming in. Balloon is down as well. Docidicus is moving into close range. We'll see what they decide to do. Still opting to fire the Lumberjack on the Roskov, but I don't think they're going to be able to save their ally. A lot of damage coming in on Bamboozlemoth. They rebuild their armor. Balloon down again. We have two Hades coming in from the Junker and the Galleon. And I think Bamboozlemoth going to be safe for the moment, falling behind one of the red spawn pillars. As Docidicus is keeping the Junker's balloon suppressed, but they're just not able, even though the Stormbreaker is mostly uncontested, they just are not doing enough damage. This dual Tempest build that they've brought here is not outputting the DPS that they need to be able to get a solo kill. Though they're annoying, they take the Roskov out of the fight momentarily, but balloon is now rebuilt. Roskov's moving in. They've got the Hades side at medium range. I was thinking they might switch to the Gatling side, right side. I'm looking here. Looks like we do have Greased in the Gatling of the blue Junker. Roskov armor went down for just a moment, so now Docidicus is moving back in. Currently, Bamboozlemoth went into the Lumberjack War with the Galleon. Docidicus getting angles on the Roskov, but Roskov skates away. Is this the moment we're going to see where they try to switch to the Gatling mortar side? I think this might be it. Junker moving in for the kill. Gatling has engaged on the Bamboozlemoth. A lot of it, they are able to hit the armor past the balloon. One mortar shot does finish them off, and now match point for the Pomelos. Docidicus at close range. They can't do anything with this Lumberjack. We need to see some mines. Are we going to finally see a mine hit come out here? I think that's their only opportunity. One mine comes out, but they sent that one to the next state. That's not even, I don't think these mines are going to be able to hit. Docidicus instead running. Looks like they are going to be, well, this turn might, let's see how much damage they take on the turn. Not too much. Armor's looking healthy. Bamboozlemoth does spawn in behind the Galleon. And now Docidicus is turning around. So it looks like they're not going to be hiding behind terrain. They're instead going to double back to go help their ally. There's going to be some time here where the Red Judgment is going to get dual focused, and I don't know if Stormbreaker is going to make it back quickly enough. Although actually, looking at the well, what the Roskov is doing, yeah. Hades is coming on the Bamboozle Moth. Slow-moving Squid armor was down as well. Galleon's actually hurting here. Red could get a kill. Bamboozle Moth moving in. Looks like they're switching their focus to the Blue Galleon. Armor is down. This could be the kill they need. They need some Artemis shots to hit. Oh, but no follow-up damage. Oh, they have Banshee. They still get a kill here with the Banshee. Oh, Roskov taking a lot of damage. Oh, huge damage from the Tempest. Taking out the Junker. Junker's armor finally going down. And now, here's a power play from Legio Lepidoptera. This is going to be a second point on the board, but Bamboozle Moth taking permanent damage. Another heavy flak hits after the Galleon dies, and this is problematic. Because, yeah, they took the fight, but the Bamboozle Moth took 70% damage in the last few seconds of the engagement, and that's really bad. Because Triple L needs 3 more kills, and every pip of damage they take on that Judgment is going to make it that much harder. So I think they could have got that kill a little bit earlier if the Banshees were ready, and the engineer who's manning that Banshee probably busy repairing or doing something else. Now we have both teams reset back to a neutral state of play. Blue team open spawn here, and Legio Lepidoptera looks like going west side spawn once again. They do like this western pass. It's a pretty safe approach, offers the opportunity to hit from a few different angles as well as retreat pretty safely. However, Dicidicus does have this very forward position, I think, trying to get some spots. It will be a little bit of time. If they get caught out of position, maybe lose an engine to an Artemis, this could go pretty badly. Though Stormbreaker has to be careful. The Bamboozle Moth is pretty far back in the canyons. And they're already spotted, so this is a risky play. Bamboozle Moth is firing shots from the canyon, but they're a little far out before they start hitting with high accuracy. But I guess looking at the clock, 2 minutes left, so Legio Lepidoptera, I guess, does have to make something happen as soon as possible. Balloon goes to go down on slow-moving Squid. But they get behind terrain as Roskov charging through the cloud that are going to drop down, maybe on the Gatling Mortar side. At this high altitude, they can still use the Hades. At least for the time being. The Dicidicus trying to find their way into the fight. There we go, dual focus. They've got Tempest shots firing past the pipe, hitting the Roskov. 90 seconds left. They need to get this kill. But the Roskov doing a great job keeping their armor up. And now slow-moving Squid with upward arcs hitting the Bamboozle Moth, while Dicidicus hitting the Galleon. Ooh, slow-moving Squid's armor is down. They're getting picked away by the Banshee. 40% permanent health is gone on the Galleon. And now Roskov switching their focus to the Bamboozle Moth. Judgment's armor is down as well, and Bamboozle Moth still heavily damaged from that last fight, so they have to be very careful here. They're using hydrogen to try to dodge some of that incoming fire, and the Dicidicus doing their best to keep both balloons suppressed. But once again, I don't think they're going to be able to get a kill without the help of the Judgment, so Judgment needs to stay in this fight. Blue team pretty well isolated here, and slow-moving Squid taking a few more Tempest shots, getting picked away. Galleon getting pretty low. But I don't think they're going to be able to do it. 30 seconds left on the 30 seconds left on the clock. They're not, even if they get these 2 kills, they're not going to get another opportunity before the spawn timer times out the game. So I think that's going to be it. With Pomelos taking the first game This is a best of 5 set. Only 2 teams signed up, Legio, Lepidoptera, and the Pomelos, so I'm not going to be out of it just yet. And that's going to be the game. Take a quick look here at the map rules. Looks like next map going to be Periton Rumble, another pretty close quarters brawling style map. Oh, I guess we are in overtime, but it didn't matter. Blue team was able to get the kills, the last kill to end the game. And that's going to be that. Going to our second game here in our best of 5 set. First off, for red team, the Pomelos, we have the Reborn, classic Mobula, Mine Launcher Center, dual Artemis on the lower deck, Hades and Gatling Gun. Their ally, once again, is the slow-moving Squid. Left side, a Hades Lumberjack Mark II Heavy Flak with the right side, Watch a Heavy Carronade and a rear flare gun. For their opponents, Legio, Lepidoptera, Leviathan, we see the GFA Salvager, a Junker with dual Tempest with an Artemis on the left, Gatling Light Flak on the right, and finally the Pumperidian Moth, Gatling Mortar Pyramidian with a Light Flak and a flare gun left-hand side. Now, Pumperidian Moth going for something sneaky, but bouncing around a bit on the approach. And seems like Legio, Lepidoptera may be going for a 2-pronged attack. Pumperidian Moth coming in from the south, GFA Salvager trying to keep their opponents distracted at long range. Curious if Pyramidian... Looking at Pyramidian's position, and if they're going to get spotted or not. They're rising up now. And the Galleon's so far back. I think the Pyramidian's position is totally concealed from the Pomelos, because the Galleon, look how far back the Galleon is. They're in the corner of the map. They want to snipe. That's what they want to do. And because of that, they don't have good visibility into center map, and it means Pyramidian, where's the Pyramidian? They've got a free approach here. They might be able to get a fast kill on the Mobula. Pumperidian Moth moving in, Gatling going a little bit wide. Gatling seems indecisive, switching between those ships. I'm not sure what's happening there. But the Pyramidian now moving in, charging through the mine. They're getting dual focused. I think they lost too much momentum. I don't think they're going to survive. Both the Reborn and the Pumperidian lose their armor, but the Pumperidian Moth takes a huge heavy flak hit, and I think the Hades is going to be enough to finish them off. Down they go. Charge their Gambit for Legio, Lepidoptera, not quite working out. Pyramidian came very close, but the last second mine hit just halted their momentum just enough so that they weren't able to get that fatal connection with the Reborn. And slow-moving Squid was able to lend in that support fire. And now Salvager gonna have to find a way to extricate themselves from this situation. This is red side of the map, so I don't think they want to continue this fight. They're going to do what they can to try to disengage. I would think they would probably want to take a lower position so that the balloon can block some of that incoming Artemis fire. But it looks like they are trying to stay close. They don't want to completely disengage. They're just going to try to find a little nook or cranny to hide in while the Pyramidian closes the distance. They want to keep their enemies closer and whatnot. Pumperidian Moth is unspotted. They're just moving into open air. I hope Pomelo... Yeah, there goes the spot. We'll see who the first target is. First target is Galleon, which I think is probably the wrong call. I don't think they're going to be able to get an armor break on this first clip. They're actually forced to back out. The mines start coming out. They're reversing. They hit the terrain. Big mine hit takes down the armor, and now they're getting picked away. I think they maybe should have tried to go for the Mobula instead of the Galleon. They might have been able to charge through that first mine and get the kill. Now they're kind of locked down while the Salvager is in the back somewhere, trying to find a way into the fight. Looks like the balloon, I think, got taken down by the heavy carronade of the galleon. And that's one of the strengths of this ship, that generally has been outclassed by the Judgment in these past few months. But the galleon does have much better split fire capabilities than the Judgment, since it does have 2 heavy weapons on the weak side, the quote-unquote weak side of the ship, which is making it difficult for the salvager to approach. You see they move in, they start taking Washa Barrage at the same time the slow-moving squid is unloading sniper fire on the Pumperidian Moth. So Galleon doing a good job contesting 2 targets, while the Reborn moves in behind the Pumperidian. Pumperidian tries to get that Gatling in on the Galleon, but I think they're taking too much damage. Armor does go down, the slow-moving squid, they move forward, does the Pyramidian, and I think Pyramidian's window for getting a kill probably low here, as Pyramidian does go down. Salvager moves in and gets a Tar Cloud. A big hit on the Reborn, but now they're going to get dual focused. Pumperidian Moth just not doing the damage that they need. And now once again forced to disengage. Oh, hitting the train on the way out. This might be it for the Junker. That might be a fatal mistake, as they're trying to keep their balloon up. Armor taking a lot of damage. We'll see if they can get behind terrain. No, hitting the bridge on the way out. And that's a quick 3 points on the... Oh, no, Pumperidian Moth. Oh, no, they thought they could save the... They thought the Junker was going to be able to get behind terrain. So they need to get the hell out of here. Although I think that, honestly, that was another opportunity where the Pyramidian could have gotten a kill. If they had reacted quickly enough, you saw how slowly the Reborn turned around. Despite the fact that that was a little unfortunate spawn, I think if they were on their feet... And now they're moving in anyways. Oh, mine was unarmed, so they could get this kill. This one is armed. Armor is low. Reborn hydrogening up. They're going to miss. They're going to sail on past. And at this point, I think Pumperidian Moth... Okay, well, you know, every time I say they should disengage, Salvager decides to take that same spawn. They're getting dual focused. I think the decision-making here from Lepidoptera has been very... questionable. I think they're afraid. Well, okay, here we go. Pumperidian Moth. Let's get this kill. Junker's already dead. They do finally. Mortar shots land. Mobula goes down. So Lepidoptera puts their first point on the board. And we'll see how the Pyramidian does in a 1v1 versus the Galleon. Lumberjack shots have not been hitting. That one was unarmed. So Pyramidian has basically, okay, half balloon. Gatling close range here on the long range side of the slow-moving squid. Slow-moving squid is rising up, trying to switch to their close range side, but they can't. Slow-moving squid, their armor very low. Down it goes. Mortar shots coming in. Pyramidian might be able to get this kill. Big damage on the Galleon, and the Junker firing shots in the background. Looks like they're going to be able to get the second point. And Lepidoptera, they gave up a lot of kills in the process, but they were able to secure 2 for themselves. So they've shown a little bit of life here on Peryton Rumble. I don't think those were great trades. Generally speaking, don't want to trade 2 of your ships for 2 of your opponent's ships when you're down in score, because now Pomelos are on match point. And I think the reason that they went, that Lepidoptera went for those close spawns, is because they saw what happened at the very beginning of the match, and also what's happening here, which is that they had a lot of difficulty approaching the Pomelos encampment, finding a way around their sniper arcs, because Pomelos are playing so defensively. You see they're right here on the edge of the map. It's very difficult for blue team to approach, so they thought, well, if we just spawn in at close range, maybe we can keep our opponents on their toes. But unfortunately, Pomelos were able to react quickly enough to the close range spawn, and Lepidoptera was not really able to capitalize off of it. They're basically just feeding kills to their opponents instead of getting those surprise picks. And now we do see Pumperidian Moth sneaking around. I do believe Pomelos are aware of his location. They certainly are now, as the spot does go down. Reborn's already facing that direction. Salvager moving into close range. Tempest shots coming in, hitting the Reborn. Armor on the Mobula is getting low. Reborn is facing the Junker, so Pumperidian Moth could find an opportunity, an opening here to kill this Mobula. Lumberjack, Pyramidian's balloon is low, so they're switching focus to the Galleon. And I don't think they're going to do it. Well, we'll see what happens. Slow Moving Squid still has full armor, so it's going to take a while for Pyramidian to kill them. And now Reborn switching their focus back to the Pumperidian. Salvager's got the Gap Flak side in. We do see a dual focus on Galleon. No, switching to Reborn now is the Salvager. Pumperidian Moth losing their armor, forced to back away, wants to stay away from the long range side of the Galleon and also those mines. And now Salvager, taking too much damage. Heavy flak from the Galleon finishes off the Junker. And that's the 5th point and 2nd game for the Pomelos. Very decisively winning here on Canyon and Peryton Rumble. The next map is going to be Misty Mutiny. And we'll see if Triple L can cobble together some type of strategy to counter what the Pomelos are doing. Going into our 3rd and potentially last game here in this best of 5 set, with Pomelos up 2-0 in set score against Legio Lepidoptera Leviathan. First off, for the Pomelos, we have the Schrichter, dual Gatlings, dual Watches on this Shrike. Their ally is the Perfection Mark II. We saw this build last month being played against FCD on this map. It is a Crusader with dual Nemesis on the front, dual Flare Guns, and dual Gatlings. For their opponents, like the Lepidoptera Leviathan, we see the GFA Dositicus, Minotaur Artemis Light Flak with the Gatling on the right side, and finally the Ludamoth Mobula with the Center Mercury, Artemis Light Flak on the lower deck, and dual Gatlings on the outer wing. So I think Triple L here coming to the realization that their Tempest-based strategies are not going to work against the Pomelos today. The fire suppressant capabilities of Red Team's crews just proving too much for the Tempests to really do the damage that they need. And we certainly saw that in the previous 2 games. So now no Tempests to be found on Blue's side of the map. And Red here definitely bringing a more brawl style of team composition. Ludamoth kitted out for primarily long range. They do have that Gatling light flak if enemy team moves into close range, but I think the Schrichter, if the Schrichter finds an angle, this Gatling watches Shrike, if they find a good angle on either of these 2 opposing ships, Blue's going to have a lot of difficulty dealing with it. Both the Stormbreaker and the Mobula are very susceptible to flanks due to their poor turning capabilities. And the Perfection has these dual Nemesis that are pretty much going to be able to hit from any distance. That's one of the reasons that the dual Nemesis Crusader not being a very good ship, but this particular build, we have seen Pomelos use it on this map. Is it's just such a wide open map, and you have pretty good visibility from all angles. So if you just set up somewhere with the dual Nemesis, and you can pretty much fire them consistently, and your opponents can do nothing about it. Now, Red Team does hopscotch forward to the next set of buildings. They definitely want to get into a position where the Shrike can flank one of these 2 ships. That's going to be the primary goal for Red Team. And once the Shrike is in the enemy's formation, just dancing around, taking their focus, then that gives Perfection the opportunity to just unload with those dual Nemesis and be uncontested. Because the one weakness of the Crusader, one of the primary weaknesses, is it is very susceptible to Artemis Disable because it has those two guns on the front. But Blue Team is opting for a pretty Artemis light build. They only have 1 on the Mobula and then 1 on the... Do they even have an art? Yeah, they do. one on the Dosidicus. Only 2 Artemis between the 2 teams, but here comes the Schrichter. They're moving in just as the Perfection lost their armor. Just a moment of distraction. I'm not sure if they're fully committing or they're going to back off. It looks like they are moving forward. So Perfection has to kick it into gear. Crusader not the fastest ship in the game, and Schrichter already getting dual focus, and they just get eviscerated by the Luna Moth. Schrichter not reacting quickly enough, and now Perfection Mark II has committed to the fight as well. Lunamoth lost their armor. Crusader is going for a ram, but Lunamoth was able to duck below them. So instead they're going for the Stormbreaker, but Stormbreaker moves away as well, and I don't think Perfection is going to be able to smash one of these blue ships in this engagement. As Lunamoth turns, I think Crusader is going to go down here, and they do. I think that was, I was just checking, I think that was a Gunner Stamina arc on that Gatling. The Gatling pretty much shooting backwards to hit that Crusader. And Schrichter is spotted, so they do have to be a little bit careful as they make this disengagement. Looks like outside of Artemis range. But they definitely don't want to take any of those Merc shots, and they do make it behind cover. So Shrike is safe. Lucky Lepidoptera once again showing that they're not going to be eliminated just yet. Very wide spawns from the Pomelos. So I'll be curious to see what they decide to do with this. If they're going to, they could just be trying to meet up, or they could have the Crusader try to come in from behind their opponents with the dual nemesis. With the Shrike is, once again, Shrike gonna try to distract their opponents. Didn't work well last time. In the last fight, the Crusader, because the Crusader had ducked behind cover to repair, they weren't quite in position to be able to support their ally. So they could go for try the same thing again with just a little bit better pilot coordination. But we'll see. Schrichter is still spotted, so blue team very... it's not going to be any surprises from the Shrike. The Crusader lies in wait, so it looks like that's what... that's the plan here, is they're going to try to use the Shrike to bait out blue team from their position, but it doesn't seem to be working. So at some point, Pomelos are going to have to do something, because blue team does have the lead, and the clock is ticking down, so... So whatever they're trying to do, it looks like Legio Lepidoptera is not fought well. Yeah, they're actually moving towards the Perfection's position, not the Shrike. Just moving towards center map, because they know. Because I think they're aware that if the Crusader had spawned next to the Shrike, red team would have started moving in already. So they know that the Pomelos are trying to go for something sneaky. And Dosidicus, look at that, they're actually moving in towards where the Crusader has spawned. Although I don't know if they have visibility of the Crusader just yet. Now they should. Now the Mobula should be able to see them. But I'm not sure if the Dosidicus was actually able to see the Crusader from that position. And now Nemesis shots raining in. First target going to be the Luna Moth. So Mobula trying to finesse their way behind a building to zone out the Crusader's Nemesis shots, while still maintaining an angle on the Schrichter. While the Minotaur looks like targeting the... Take a look at what's happening here with this Minotaur. Nobody quite narked just yet for the Stormbreaker. As Shrike inching forward, still taking some merc shots from the Mobula. Nemesising the Dosidicus. Kind of a strange stalemate that we're seeing here. Striker's repositioning, so we may see them make their play here pretty quickly. But Mobula's already turned facing the Shrike's position, so they're really not giving their opponents any kind of an opening. Playing this very defensively. Perfection has moved into close range, so this has prompted a reaction from the Mobula, and now the Shrikter, they push forward, but they see the Mobula start to rise up in response, so they back away. Gatling shots hitting the Crusader. Dicidicus needs to pick a... I'm not sure how much damage Dicidicus has actually been contributing to this engagement. We see a Minotaur shot there from the Stormbreaker going into the Shrike, and that's a good Minotaur hit. Drictor's moving in. Dicidicus, I don't think they're going to be able to get away from this. I think they're going to take a Hwacha barrage here. Oh, big Tar connection, but not before the Hwacha comes out, taking down 2 engines of the Shrike, but the Shrikter getting disabled as well. And now Perfection currently focusing the Mobula, the Lunamoth. Lunamoth's balloon is down. They take a little bit of a bump trying to keep the Shrikter in arc, have a little bit of difficulty navigating the terrain, and now Lunamoth's armor is down. Nemesis could kill the Mobula here if these shots hit. Shrikter, not sure which guns are up. We'll see. Oh, Crusader going for a huge ram, but doing so much damage to themselves in the process. Lunamoth pops the tar, but they hit the terrain, and now Shrikter, Gatling hitting the Mobula. Perfection, not quite an arc. They're trying to reverse to get those Nemesis shots back in. Well, Dicidicus flies in. None of their guns are arced, but they're trying to get a tar cloud of their own and take a Hwacha barrage for their trouble. So the Dicidicus totally disabled. Mobula, 2 engines down. They're reversing into their own tar. Perfection disabled as well. And Dicidicus taking big damage. You saw 1 Nemesis shot coming out using Gunner's Stamina Arc to hit the Stormbreaker as Dicidicus rises, tries to escape from the situation. Lunamoth trying to escape from the tar cloud. And now another big tar hit, but not enough to stop the Shrikter's Hwacha from finishing them off. Dicidicus goes down. Lunamoth stranded with 2 opponents eyeing them. I think this is the opportunity that Pomelos are going to take to tie up this score. No way Mobula is going to survive this. They'll try. They're going to use the hydrogen. But once those Nemesis shots start hitting, it's very difficult to escape. Nemesis is one of the guns in the game that is one of the most difficult to escape from. Just because if you have any damaged components, balloon, armor, whatever, Nemesis is a very good suppression weapon. It can keep a damaged opponent, keep them locked down pretty much indefinitely. Just because it has that impact damage type that does damage to all components. So keeps your balloon down. You can snipe out engines, secondary damage, hit the armor, etc. That's one of the reasons Nemesis can be a good weapon, and also one of the reasons that it's particularly strong when it's stacked up with a second Nemesis, as we do see from the Crusader. Now, blue team taking a close spawn. Spot's already going down for both ships, and Trickster's going to be ready with a burst Hwacha barrage, hitting the Dicidicus. Looks like Gatling does go down, but the Minotaur is still up. So blue team can dual focus. Strike here. Gatling coming out from the Dicidicus. Lunamoth backing up to the corner of the map. Perfection trying to focus the Lunamoth, but I think without the help of the Shrikter, they're not going to do the Crusader's not going to do enough damage here to really stop their opponents from killing the Shrike. Now, a lot of this Gatling fire is going into the Shrike's balloon, which is why we haven't seen an armor break just yet. Although we do see the balloon go down on the Shrikter. I'm not sure what. Another tar cloud. Shrikter actually bouncing off the edge of the map to ricochet back straight into another tar cloud from the Lunamoth this time. And now Crusader's moving in for a ram of the Mobula and smashes them into the terrain. The slowest approach of all time, and there's nothing the Mobula could do about it. So now Pomelos have the lead. Their inability to kill the Shrike may prove to be the reason for their loss here, and this could eliminate them from the tournament. Now, is the clock ticking away? 7 minutes left. flare gun going into the balloon, which is pretty bad. The Sidicus needs to find a way to disengage. Watch it comes out. 2 engines. They're trying to tar, but no engines, no balloon. Stormbreaker moving in for a ram. Big damage. The Sidicus, just a sliver of health. And this might be it. Gatling does finish them off. Lunamoth is spawned in. I don't know if they're going to be able to escape from the strike. Trickster wants blood. And this may be it. Today's tournament may be slipping away from Triple L as they end up using the terrain to zone out the Mobula for a second, which throws off most of their Watcha barrage. But Perfection is able to follow up with Nemesis shots, and here's the Sidicus. So they need to do something. They could they could probably kill this Crusader, honestly, given how low it's in 3rd stage of damage. But I don't think Triple L has been cognizant. They've been too focused on killing the Shrike, and I think that's going to be it. Mobula goes down. I think if they'd spent a little bit more time ignoring the Shrike because of the nerfed Watcha, its kill damage, the explosive, the burst, whatever, damage has been reduced so significantly. The Shrike would have a lot of difficulty getting a solo kill, so I think there are opportunities there where if Blue had just dual-focused the Crusader, they could have won some of those fights, but they were just so preoccupied with the Shrike, let this Crusader just stack up that Nemesis damage, and as a result, Pomelos 3-0. They are your SCS champions for this weekend.